Welcome. We are back at the shop. I know what you're thinking. This doesn't look like Sam Whitman.
No.
And it's not. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to his replacement for this week and possibly the future if tonight goes well and Sam pisses me off again, PJ Farmer. PJ, how's it going tonight?
It's good.
Is it?
It feels good to replace Sam.
That's typical. So tell the ladies and gentlemen listening, all 7 of them, a little bit about yourself.
Oh, so. I'm PJ Farmer. I work at Richard Childress Racing as a fabricator on the Xfinity series. I've been in racing pretty much my whole life. Damn, I'm going to redo that. I lost all train of thought right there.
That's fine. Just keep going because I'm not cutting any of this out.
Oh.
I guess I'm cutting that out.
Yep, got to know where to cut it.
That's why we're doing this on a Monday, not a Tuesday.
So where do I go from here? I don't know.
You work at Richard Childress Racing.
To do the whole spill again?
No, just restart because all I'm cutting out is where you said the F word.
Really?
Yeah. Gosh, stop it! All right, if you'd like to restart. PJ, tell the crowd a little bit about yourself. All 7 followers.
I'm PJ Farmer. I work at Richard Childress Racing as a fabricator on the Xfinity series. I've been around racing pretty much my whole life. My dad was a fabricator as I was growing up and decided to follow in his footsteps. Davey. I don't know what to say.
Stop saying that word.
Canada's my favorite.
That's fine. So PJ and me have PJ and me have a history. Most days I don't like him.
You love me.
Like right now. It's about to piss me off. So I guess me and PJ met and he hated my guts because I was his boss, you could say.
I don't think you were my boss.
You made more money than me, but I was technically the car chief for that car. So I'm going to say I was your boss.
Still the brains of the operation right here.
That was a messed up operation.
Yes.
So anyways, the first place we worked together was Starcom Racing. That was fun. And then this guy drugged me out of the weeds and got me back into this hellscape of racing. So I appreciate you for that.
I mean, do what I can. My little best friend Davey over here. He said I'd never come back to racing. Look what I did to you. Look where you're at now.
Hate my life more and more every day.
No, you don't. You
I don't. I love what I do. So you've got some interesting diecasts I see up here. So maybe that'll help you give the crowd a little more of your background before we dive into everything we've got scheduled for this episode.
Well, start with a number 2. The Tri-County Buggy. That's
There's
for
2
my
number
dad.
2s. Just so
the
you didn't
blue
know.
number 2.
There you go. The Blue Deuce.
Which was actually a Joe Shear car.
Rusty Wallace drove the Blue Deuce.
Yeah. I mean, that's the OG one, though. That was before.
All right.
Rusty
I'll let you be.
Wallace.
Go ahead.
He was my dad was a fabricator at Tri-County Buggy, which ended up being my godfather, which was Gary Oliver. He owned a chassis shop. And he was actually the first person to ever build and patent a front and rear clip that was bolt on, which now they use in the Cup Series. Damn it.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
It's okay, little buddy.
No, I get stuff in my throat.
Okay. You don't have to be so nervous. We're not talking to anybody.
I am nervous.
There's literally just Dad, Photog Chris in the back. And
But there's so many lights and cameras.
just ignore all that. It's fine. People are just going to make fun of you online.
That's
It's
fine.
cool.
It's
No different than making fun of your face.
Most of them will probably come from his wife.
She did say she watches every week. Or listens at least.
Me too.
Just imagine hearing yourself on recording.
Oh, it's gonna be terrible. That's why I don't
gonna
do
be great.
YouTube.
All right, continue. We got to get a little bit of content in, since we don't have Sam to fill the entire episode with his useless blabbering.
And then, so the second one is the Scott Legacy Xfinity car, which he drove at Daytona for Rick Ware Racing, which was my first time on the road with Rick for an Xfinity team. I was first place. I got my start in the top 3 series of NASCAR.
If y'all don't realize, a lot of people get their start at Rick Ware Racing.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, it's good and bad place to learn, but good place. All at the same time, you don't have all the pressure of the big team mentality, but and then the number two,
This weekend?
red number 2,
Fancy.
is obviously everybody knows who that is, Sheldon Creed.
Who's that?
Your should have been winner from this weekend in
Never heard of
Portland. Yeah.
Don't they have a TV show about him? Young Sheldon?
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, Sheldon's going to get a win at some point in time this year.
Well, eventually.
When all the pieces fall his way.
Same with
Which
Daniel.
they haven't.
Bad
Daniel
luck.
has the championship and
He
win.
does. He does. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying bad luck.
Yeah, he has some
We're going to talk
terrible
about
luck.
a little bit about that later.
Terrible luck.
Not good. Not good luck. You good?
I'm good.
It's going to be okay.
I didn't say that for not one time.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So, anyways, I guess there's going to be a lot to talk about this week. A lot of things happened. There was some supposedly broken noses. PJ sat on a pole, and things were on fire. And then brake rotors were exploding. So, I think we have a lot to talk about. What do you want to start with? Should we start with the Xfinity race?
That was the first race.
All right,
Let's start with the Xfinity.
I guess let's tell them about the pole you sat on.
Well, Sheldon had the fastest time out in Portland. He was on a rail for sure, qualifying during the race until things happened multiple times.
Where'd Austin qualify? Did he qualify in the top 10?
I believe it was 7th. Austin qualified 7th.
So
I believe.
all the cars off RCR campus looked really good. Well, Parker
They
was
usually
really fast in practice, and then I think they had some transmission issues or something. I think he said he was pushing the clutch in all the way around in qualifying, so they had to change the transmission out between qualifying and the race since everything happened in one day. Our boy Rodney Sandstorm qualified up there in the top 10. All the College cars and RCR cars qualified in the top 10 and really looked good. It's unfortunate how the day went because obviously we at College won at Portland last year. Much different conditions last year. It was pouring down rain. And then this year it was so beautiful. I didn't realize that Mount St. Helen or whatever that volcano, I think, or Mount St. Helens was in the background of that racetrack.
Yeah,
I mean, it made some good pictures.
It's beautiful out there.
You couldn't pay me enough to live out there, though.
No. Definitely a visit. I would like to see a race there. I love road course racing.
We could have went there when we were Trans Am racing.
Yeah.
We could have played with the West.
West Coast only gets about a day or two of my time every couple of years.
Looks like about 12 in and out trips a time.
Hey, in and out is my jam.
Whatever
know
you
that.
say, man. It's an experience, and it's okay, but you can get better food at Cookout.
I've made you switch from Whataburger to In-N-Out.
Whataburger's trash, honestly.
See? I argue that for years.
I'd rather have Cookout all day, every day. So,
Okay.
give me a big double tray all the way, Cookout style, fries,
I'm in.
and a honey mustard chicken wrap, and I'm rolling.
You can't beat the East Coast food.
That's not what you say normally.
Yeah, but if I'm out there, I'm going to eat In-N-Out. Why wouldn't you?
No, that's fair. That is fair. All right, back on topic. So the Xfinity race at Portland. So y'all ran really well. Sheldon ran pretty good all race.
Yeah, you did. All the way until
Go ahead.
the final restart, turn 1, which was great. I was telling my wife, I was like, man, if somebody's going to do something, turn 10, it's definitely the spot to do it. That's what I think, because turn 1, it's a terrible idea. You're going from,
Just ask
Like-
Chandler.
you're funneling into turn 1.
Yeah, that's
Going 3 wide isn't.
that might be the
greatest
craziest.
idea.
That might be one of the craziest turns in NASCAR. That chicane is. It's like a 170-degree switchback.
Yeah.
I mean, you're almost going the complete opposite direction when you get through it.
Funnels down so tight.
I think, obviously, so from lap 1, we saw on the start drop of the green flag, we watched Mozak diving in there, wreck Chandler.
Yeah, that didn't work.
That's what you get at Portland, entering that corner, whether it's wet or dry conditions. It's such a difficult corner, and it's easy to overshoot. And then you think you can carry all this speed into it, and
Custer overshot it, I'm pretty sure.
There was a lot of guys that overshot it.
Had to do a little stop and go.
Stop and go.
Yeah.
Stop, roll, and go.
California
They ended up, I think, making Chandler do a drive-through because they said he didn't stop. I could be wrong about that, but I think they made him do a drive-through. But you're not really slowing down for turn one. You're slowing down for that turn two switchback.
Yep.
I mean, turn one, you blow right through, but you're going to end up in the weeds or the wall or whatever they have.
I will say I was impressed once Sheldon and Allgaier got pushed out the way they avoided the advertising signs.
Yeah, how did they rule that? Was that not a stop and go?
Stop. I don't know if it was because
you drive through there and then they figure they've got it set up so that it slows you down so much there's no penalties. You just weave through.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Yeah, but they were digging. I thought Sheldon was going to take out Allgaier because he was so close, following him through the signs. I give them both props for not wrecking, going through there.
That's not the first time Sheldon got into somebody. Old John Hunter.
Hunter.
Is it coming into stage one or two? Into stage one. You
well,
we were a little tight. We were together. We were the old glory hole, Bowman Gray.
Yeah. We
watched that.
It was I give props to Sheldon because normally Sheldon is very even keel. He's very calm, but I knew he was going to maybe get the bumper to him if he could, and he did. He had a fast car. He had a fast car all day. He got back to him. I was like, man, if he gets to him, he's going to wreck him. But I don't know if he's going to wreck himself in the process because that track is, it's road course.
There was a lot of...
But he did what he had to do. He didn't destroy his car. He just hey.
Yeah.
It's a respect thing. Move me,
He did the exact same thing. They're coming to stage points, and that's what NASCAR wants is the aggression. You're really going to see it on the road courses. You see it in Cup racing. You really, really see it in the Xfinity racing. They want the aggression.
That's what I like to see, but not having to fix it every week. But
yeah. Well,
from a fan standpoint,
when you know you've got colleague racing at a road course, you're going to have to fix stuff. Especially when AJ's driving. He wasn't driving this week, but I think Colleague has got that reputation of...
If he's not starting on the pole, he's going to be at the front, and he's going to use his bumper to do it.
Yeah, and I think Colleague in general has got that reputation now, just having AJ. Because AJ wasn't even in the race. We had Jordan Taylor, who ran remarkably well for his first time in an Xfinity car.
Awesome driver. In the IMSA series.
Top 6 all day. Really, he qualified around there. As high as third, fourth, up in the early going. Unfortunately, they're in that last stage. The transmission went, from what I understand, and at a road course, it's pretty hard to do anything with just first and fourth gear.
Yeah, especially
you're not going to be pretty fast.
There's some pretty big straightaways there, and you need all that speed.
Yeah,
to get up to the speed.
Really good day for him. Daniel had some issues.
Daniel was on fire at one point in time.
Yeah, he's badass. Oh, you mean actually on fire?
He was actually on fire.
Yeah. I don't really know what happened as far as that, but from what I have gathered talking to our boy on the left coast, Sam. Left coast Sam. They were able to get it patched back up and get him out there to log some laps and pick up a couple spots. I think he picked up 3 or 4 from the time he went off the racetrack to the time the race ended. So, honestly, just really proud of the guys back at the track for doing that. Even prouder for the boys back at the shop for building them a fast car. Because I said it last week, and I'm going to say it again. Daniel, he was fast last week, had the mishap. he was fast this week. He was fast last year at Portland. And the same thing, just bad luck.
He has the same look Sheldon has.
Just bad luck. And, you got to figure it. We're going to have to get a rabbit's foot or something.
He has the same, if not greater talent, more experience than Sheldon.
Yeah, he's been at this for a while. I mean, he drove for y'all, Xfinity and Cup.
Actually, the first live pit stop I ever done was on Daniel's car.
In what series?
Modifieds.
Was that the time you got whipped by the air hose?
No, that was Myrtle Beach Speedway with Frank Fleming.
Let's go ahead and hear about that one. I like that story.
That now it's funny, but at the time, like it was scary.
It's fun.
It was actually the last NASCAR modified tour race at Myrtle Beach Speedway before they tore it down.
R.I.P.
Yeah, that was a great place. But we come in for our pit stop, lap 70 something. Well,
This drink is sweating as much as I am. It is hotter than hell in here.
want me to leave? So, we're at Myrtle Beach. Come in lap 70 something. All the guys on the lead lap come in, take our right side tire. We're going to come in, swap lefts for the next pit stop. While I was the rear tire changer. So I go around, changing my tire. And then we had a front changer, new guy, has never done it before. And I'm like, hey, before the race, I'm like, you good? Like, no, I'm good. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
About as even keeled as you are to start this podcast.
Yeah. And so I get my tire done. I'm waiting at the wall, and I keep looking at him, and I'm looking at the jack man, and I'm like, is he ever going to finish that right front? Like, is he all right? I put my gun down, and I kind of walk to the left front, and I'm waiting, because I was just going to tell him to stay there and throw me your gun, just so we're that much faster when he drops the jack, because we're already slow. Well, I guess when, like, he sets his gun down, jack man drops the jack, takes off. Of course, that's what a driver does. Like, you take off, you drop the jack, you take off. Well, the air hose ends up under the race car. And I'm looking at the bottle, and I'm looking at the car going down. I'm like, okay, the hose is going to break. So I just try to get out of the way. Well, the hose doesn't break. The regulator breaks off the bottle. Hits me in the left knee. I end up doing a backflip on pit road. Tommy Baldwin's car is coming, and I'm laying there, and I'm like, I should get up. I should probably get up. I get up, go to stand on my left leg. It hurts pretty bad. Well, our driver's on the radio. Everybody okay? Because he knew we ran over something. He didn't know what it was, though. He comes back in. We have to swap left side tires because you can only have 2 sticker tires. And he's like, everything good? Do I need to come back in so we can swap lefts? And I come on the radio. Yeah, we're good. Let's go. I can't feel my left leg. So I'm getting ready, and I'm like not at all standing on my left leg. And he's like, well, I'm coming down pit road. Everybody's fine, right? Yeah, we're good. Let's go. I change my tire faster than the front changer again. Get my job done, and I sit on the wall. Well, little did I know I had blood running down my leg and about a softball-sized knot on the side of my knee.
It's fun. Totally normal.
Good stuff.
And you want to give a shout out to that NASCAR official?
Brian Morehouse.
Is he anywhere specific today?
I think he works for 811 near Langley.
Okay, so call before you dig. So you can't
Call
get in trouble
before
for
you
saying
dig.
his name.
No, I love Brian Morehouse. He wouldn't even care if I said his
All
name.
right, cool. Blast him. What happened?
So we go in the trailer after the race, do a little report, like I got hurt and all this stuff. Well, he pulls up a chair. I'm thinking like, oh, cool. He got me a chair. I'm going to sit down. Nope. He takes a seat, and I'm standing there with my gimp leg. I'm like, all right, I'll just stand here. It's cool. He starts asking me what happened. I tell him. He doesn't even realize he's sitting there, and I'm standing until we're pretty much done with all the paperwork and everything. Good news is, if you have any further injuries with this knee, it's covered.
NASCAR insurance. Yeah, that's always nice.
Yeah.
To be covered.
That was my good time at Myrtle Beach. Last time I was ever there.
Last time you'll ever be there, R.I.P.
Now let's maybe drive home.
Well, wasn't it your left leg that was hurt?
Yeah, but still.
You use your right leg to do everything.
I know.
You're fine.
I was fine.
Anyways. So, what were we talking about before we started?
Portland.
I get that. Where had we gotten? All right, so
Pretty much everything.
Sheldon wrecks John Hunter after John Hunter wrecked Sheldon. Parker threw it down in there too hard. But took out Allgaier, took out Sheldon. My pick from last week, I'm 2 for 2 on weekend wins. Cole Custer ended up taking the W. I think we all knew it was coming sooner than later.
You jinxed it.
No, because I said the same thing last week. I picked Ben Rhodes to win the truck race last week, and he won the truck race. I thought Christian Eccles was going to win the truck race this week, but came up a little short. But it doesn't matter because Custer got me a W there. So I think Davey leads the season standings. Photog Chris didn't even have a chance in the truck race. Poor Corey Heim. So we're going to call that the Chris curse or something. You got anything you want to say about this weekend?
I mean, Jesse Love gave that 11 truck a good run. So, yeah, Corey Heim would have been right up there with those guys.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Could have, should have, would have.
Chase Elliott was right up with them guys, too, this weekend. Oh, wait.
But I picked Ryan Blaney for that race, so he got second.
I'm just saying.
Anybody pick Kyle Busch, did they?
I picked Logano.
I would if I
Logano was
could,
in that. I picked Logano.
Who's Sam pick?
I'll be honest, I just kind of put that video in there. And
Didn't
I
you?
don't even know if he made picks.
He did.
I don't know who he picked. Who did he pick? Did you watch that video?
I did.
You know who he picked?
Usually when Sam talks, I'm like, my ears.
Maybe that's why we only have 7 followers.
Sheesh. Love you, Sam.
This is going to turn into a roast of Sam. He's not going to want to come back when he comes
He
back.
would not expect any less out of
No,
me.
he
and you.
wouldn't. He wouldn't. At least he's not in the vicinity, so you can't try to fight him again.
That was once.
Use your words.
Speaking of fights,
Speaking of fights,
Oh,
you got to get better with the
about to
transitions,
get
big
saucy.
dog. So, I guess the most interesting thing to happen at Portland this weekend was Chandler apparently went to the racetrack or to the infield care center with a broken nose, according to homeboy, old Jeb Burton. I about said Jeb Bush.
I think that's right.
old Jebediah.
So,
How do we forget about that?
I didn't forget about it. We just got to talking about other stuff, and I was going to leave that for last because I'm not going to speak on Jeb's. The only thing I want to speak on about it is the
The comeback video was
Oscar award-worthy video that Chandler put out. I don't know who edited that. I don't know who got all that video, but the sound effects and the editing,
the
then-
squeaks. The,
like a little toy hammer. God. All I
It was
know
awesome.
is Chandler didn't look like he had any bruises from it. He didn't look like he had been spoken to by any fists. So maybe his shoulder blades got a couple.
it didn't look
nicks
like
out.
pretty well contact with a face, but hey,
If anything, it looks like Chandler got the only uppercut in. Because after Homeboy pushed him, Chandler come back with a pretty vicious right. And Chandler's about 2 feet shorter than Jeb.
and Jeb's he's a good old country boy too. So
Yeah.
you figured he'd throw some haymakers. in
Our
there.
guys, I don't know how NASCAR feels about it, but the boys at College Racing have each other's back, whether it's shop members, road members. We're going to protect one another. We're going to protect the hell of our drivers because obviously Chandler Smith and Daniel Hemrick, those are our 2 chances at championship money. And that's the end goal. And, if Homeboy's got a broken nose or a busted up eye and can't see out of it, that lowers our chances to win. And that's what College Racing's all about.
Old school drivers drive with a broken arm, broken legs.
Yeah, now most of them got
No,
CTEFG, and
Touche.
can't spell their own name. So there's that.
They're still real men.
Whatever you want to say, big
The
dog.
pioneers of the sport.
Pioneers.
Badasses.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I mean, look at the die cast that we have on this table. More of mine are badass than yours.
I mean,
That's like 1.5 to my 2. I'll give you credit. That's a pretty cool
Mark
car.
Burton is the greatest driver to never win a championship in the Cup Series.
That's fantastic. But I've got Davey Allison and Alan Kawicki.
I mean,
Imagine
I
what
can't-
these
I can't
two's
argue with
career
that.
would have been if they were able to go on.
I can't even
Past
argue
1993.
with that because
That, I mean,
great.
it's
They're legends.
epic.
Gone too soon.
R.I.P. There's a lot of R.I.P. in this episode.
R.I.P. Sam.
We have to burn some sage or something. R.I.P. Sam.
R.I.P. Sam.
Or read it sagebrush.
Do they even have any of those anymore? Or did it close down?
It's a good question. I'll have to look it up.
That place was delicious. You ever have sagebrush?
Of course I've had.
You don't like steak! It's a
No,
steakhouse!
so I explained this the other night. I like steak, but everywhere I go, overcooks it.
You gotta ask for it rare, and it'll come out medium rare.
That's
And if it's
probably
still
true.
overcooked, ask for it blue. If it's still left overcooked,
I
ask
mean-
for it moo.
Now I want some True Moo. Chocolate milk.
Ooh, chocolate milk would be good.
I just turned y'all's mics off. Ironically,
Probably for the better.
it wasn't for long. Ironically, the closest sagebrush to our location is the Sagebrush Steakhouse of Wilkesboro.
Wilkesboro County.
Wilkesboro County.
Wilkes County, but either way.
Whatever. I'm not from up there.
Me either.
So we got anything else to say about the Xfinity race? We've already burned almost 30 minutes. See, I told you this was really easy.
The Xfinity race was actually enjoyable for me to watch, and I hate watching races.
And Xfinity race is enjoyable every weekend.
The cookie cutter tracks, I just don't like them.
I don't know, man. That's still
Give
some
me
of the
road
best
courses
racing product.
and short tracks.
I don't know, man. The Xfinity races on the cookie cutters are still exciting.
They're more exciting than
Well, the cup races on the cookie
bigger.
cutters are kind of exciting with this next year.
Actually
The rest of the tracks suck, but
at St. Louis Worldwide Technology. It was that was
speaking of technology,
one of the best races I've seen in a while for the Cup cars.
I'm glad we were able to watch it and they got their technology figured out.
Oh yeah,
Because it was an AT&T fiber line cut somewhere over near St. Louis, between the track and the hub of the internet. I figure AT&T still spicy about being locked out during the Sprint Cup era, because they weren't allowed to have sponsorships on the cars, and they wanted to because, well, that was an RCR thing.
Yep.
They went from Singular
Jeff Burton.
to AT&T and Sprint said, no thanks. So,
show
I'm
you
just
guys.
tinfoil hat guy.
I mean, I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't really read up too much on it. I got AT&T fiber at the house, so y'all better not cut my internet because I got to upload this.
I've got Spectrum, so there's that.
It's because you live out in the woods. Yeah.
North State for the win, or Lumos, or whatever it's called now.
I want
He
that
lives up in Mount
Starlight
Airy. I
or
don't
whatever.
think they have anything. They've got
Yeah, we've got like
Elon Musk and
Barney Fife. No, we ain't got Elon Musk up there.
Can you stretch two fiber cables between cans and make it work?
probably not. You'd be able to talk, but not access the interwebs. So the Cup race, we'll move on to that. I think we got everything out of the Xfinity race that we can get. Greed on the pole. Ran well. Got screwed. My pick won. Chandler
Chebin.
Chandler and Jeb got in a fight that wasn't really fight. But if you ask him, it's fight.
I really wish just like hockey, just let them fight till they hit the ground, break it up, shake each other's hands, and walk away.
You can have that feeling, but if you're at the track
That'd be
and
great.
if you're at the track and all of a sudden another driver's coming up to you and your crew and just tries to punch your driver, what are you gonna do?
Let them get one hit in, let the other guy get another hit in, pull them apart.
Well, that's exactly what happened.
That wasn't a hit.
Well, it's not my fault that Jeb Burton can't fight.
I'm not saying like do some stuff on the
He's hitting him with a toy hammer.
backstretch.
I mean, you heard the noises it was making. He had a toy hammer.
I did.
It was like one of those little blow-up hammers you had when you were 3 or 4. Beep, beep, beep.
I wish the video was a little better because this could have been one of the all-time better fights to be seen. But
You can blame NASCAR on Fox for that one.
well, yeah. But when you
And I
think about
tweeted that the other day. They really screwed the pooch on that one. They filmed 12 minutes of Cole Custer's burnout or whatever, and then got Jeb in a headlock and missed everything else.
Even the Almirola and Bubba shove from last week.
Yeah, I think that's why fans are kind of ready for NBC to take over because they feel like it's gone downhill. I don't know what's going on, and I don't know why fans feel like that. I've always liked Fox's broadcasting. I just feel like they're missing a lot of stuff this year, and it could be just complete coincidental. It just feels like they're missing everything, and there's a commercial every 30 seconds.
There is a commercial every 30 seconds.
But I've seen people have shown the data. There's no more commercials than there was 20 years ago, 10 years ago. But it just
I'm just impatient.
maybe it's because I'm almost 30 now, and time's just going by quicker. But it just feels like every 12 laps there's a commercial.
Yeah, it does. I do like the side by side though. That's pretty good when they do that twice during the whole race.
well, they did top load that one race. Was it the Daytona 500 or was it one of the ones after? They top loaded it with a bunch of commercials up front, a lot more commercials to hopefully, and it just that backfired on them. I know too many people and too many things about the Fox broadcast, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm not.
there's been some people changes in the last year or two that, behind the scenes that
It just
probably make a
feels
difference.
different, and maybe it's just because we watch what's going on with the NFL broadcasts, and they just keep seeming to string it along, get better and better, and move to these streaming services, and I don't think because Fox took over in 2001, so they've been on there for this is what their 22nd, 23rd year. And Mike Joy does a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome. Listen to his stories. He keeps everything together. But it just seems like that core group, because you had him, Larry Mack, and DW for so long, and it's now like
Boyer.
I don't know who. Boyer's all right, but
I like
you need
Boyer.
a third. And hopefully next year when Kevin gets in the booth, Kevin does a phenomenal job.
Yeah,
Like when he's
been
in-
up there.
When he's up there for the
pretty
Xfinity races, the driver-only broadcast that was supposed to be was the rain delay coverage was pretty good of him getting his
good. I just don't like.
RV.
I mean, love me or hate me, I just don't like Darrell Waltrip's voice. It annoys
That's
the hell
fine.
out of it.
It's fine. I was kind of disappointed when he didn't boogity boogity boogity.
Oh, I'm so glad he did.
You were there. You didn't even have to hear it.
It's so obnoxious. You can still hear things.
You're dumb. You
It's
were
so
at the
obnoxious.
racetrack.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go
you can still hear
podcasting,
it.
boys.
Okay. Anyways, let's move on to the Cup Racing Worldwide Technology Gateway Raceway, whatever they call it. So obviously, Kyle Busch gets his third win of the season.
3 for Dale.
That's as many as his former team, Joe Gibbs Racing, has on the season combined total. Your employee, I know you deal more with the Xfinity stuff, but I mean, how does it feel to have a driver, the talent level of Kyle Busch to come in
Oh, it's huge.
and
Like
take
the whole
y'all?
atmosphere. Like as soon as he signed, it was just like everybody kind of lightened up a little bit.
Yeah, I know the
A
atmosphere.
little pep in the step.
There was a lot of rumblings about what was going to happen when Tyler announced that he was leaving last year, and
That was kind of like a punch in the stomach because
right,
Tyler's a pretty decent driver and
he's proven that.
he's
I
a
think
good
that
kid. And
2311
I like
group
Tyler.
as a whole this year has really proven that they're going
he's
to
had some
run
good luck,
well
too.
and win some races. But they're just running into issues. But you'll run into that when you're a young guy at a new team,
Yep.
especially a team in its third year.
But if I were to have a pick of the two, I mean,
I'm with you.
how could you not?
We've
say
had
no
Kyle
to
in our
Kyle
Xfinity
Busch?
cars, and he's been pretty good.
I've been a Kyle fan not of his attitude, but his ability for a long time.
I really feel like the switch has flipped this year too. And I've noticed other people say it that he used to be the guy that everybody hated.
Yep.
He was an ass
getting
clown
cheers.
that nobody liked, and now
Yep.
he is 180 degrees.
It's incredible. Usually you go to the track, you hear driver intros, Calbush, everybody boos. But
Danny Hamlin really took over that, from what I understand, this past
it's
weekend.
insane that people are cheering for Calbush now.
Yeah, it's good to see that he's bringing some life to that group. You know,
It is.
Tyler ran well. He won a few races last year for the group,
He won
but that was
Indy and-
mainly road courses. He rode America.
Was it Indy and Road America?
Yeah. And so that was just road courses.
Mm-hmm.
So has Tyler ever won on an oval?
Not in a Cup car, I believe.
I feel like he's won on an oval. We're gonna get a fact check on that. But
I think it was Indy. I know
I know he's
one
won Indy.
was
He
Road
won
America.
Indy and he won Road America because he was class of the field at Road America. But I don't know where I was going with this. What were we talking about? Kyle Busch, Tyler Reddick.
Reddick leaving RCR.
Yeah, I mean,
Bush coming in.
so y'all have had some wins. Obviously, it's been 5 years now, but y'all got a Daytona 500 with Austin.
That was before my time.
Yeah, well,
So
I was that was my only Daytona 500 on the road. I was still at Rick's then.
ooh, my first.
Cool story. Aaron Rodgers actually touched mine and Sam's shoulder that day. That was when he was dating Danica Patrick. So me and Sam are standing out by the 51. Justin Marks was driving for us that weekend. He's doing tires. He's doing tires. I'm doing interiors. So we're standing out there. All the pre-race, 500 pre-race is ridiculous. It takes forever. So we're standing out there. So 51 is here, and the 7 that Danica was driving was here. So me and Sam are standing in between these two cars, and all
Was
of a
that
sudden,
the premium car?
yep,
Premium number 7.
yep. So me and Sam are standing in between the cars, and all of a sudden this guy comes up and puts his hands on our shoulders and kind of moves us out of the way. And we look up, and it's a bigger guy.
This huge muscular.
Well, hold
dude.
on, because then a guy comes walking behind that guy, and he goes, "Excuse my guy, fellas. How are y'all?" And walks through, and it's Aaron Rodgers following his handler.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers needs a handler. Like he's a.
Well, he had a guy escorting him to the 7 car in Danica.
I mean,
And me and Sam look at each other, and we're like, "Holy shit, that was Aaron Rodgers!" And we were in disbelief for about
That's pretty
20
cool.
seconds, and then kind of snapped back into it. And that's all I really remember from that day, other than finishing 12th a lap down.
I only have one moment like that at the racetrack where I was like, "Oh my god, they touched Borm." Ozzy Osbourne, Texas Motor Speedway.
Prince of Darkness.
That was awesome. He was the grand marshal of that race.
Yeah.
I think it was 2017-ish.
Go ahead.
18.
I had a brush of greatness in the bathroom at Martinsville. I was at the urinal right next to Mario Lopez.
You struck him off. You said you had a
Like
brush of
Slater?
greatness. I thought that's what they called that thing. No?
Slater?
All right.
Slater.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
He was there as grand
And we're
marshal or
watching
whatever that year. It was a few years ago, and I'm like, I should have been on camera for that part, but whatever.
Well, that's fine.
I mean, that's pretty cool either way.
Do we find out if Tyler won any ovals?
Yes, he won the 2022 Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 500 at Texas Motor Speedway.
Hey,
I don't remember that race. Such a trash racetrack.
see, I would have been working at RCR, but I don't.
But yeah, the rest of his wins were on the road courses.
Right. Indian Road America. So he had 3 last year.
So I remember the 2 road courses. I don't know why I don't remember the. That was when they 1-2 finish.
Oh, yeah. It was.
Austin
Yeah.
and Tyler.
Austin finished P2. I remember that now. Yeah, that was a.
Was it?
I think so. I could be wrong.
I think it was 1-2 finish for RCR.
We're not intentionally being quiet.
At Texas?
I thought so.
No.
Yeah.
Who finished second?
Joey Logano.
They
Was
won-
it once he finished when Austin won?
Might have been. Austin finished 17th that day, but let me go back and find that race.
All right. Well,
I know they have one from that might have been 2020.
yeah, when I don't know.
Austin won.
Austin won on fuel mileage.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on. And if he finds that, we'll combat that when we get to it. So, place went dark. Kyle Busch won. A lot of drivers saying it was hard to pass. It produced some good racing, but if you could get to the inside of somebody,
I feel like if
not
anybody was like third back, even if you had a fast car like Bush, like he fell back a couple spots on pit road, and once he was back in the pack, like he couldn't do anything.
just so much aero on the Cup cars. It's with the diffusers and all of that.
Yes, when Austin Dillon won Texas in 2020, Tyler Reddick was second.
Okay, there we go. So aero diffusers, all that junk that engineers need to know. And it's just difficult for anybody to do anything. Like I noticed a bunch of guys took, like Michael McDowell took a strategy call, 2 tires, and was able to
It worked for a
hang
while.
on. And I mean, you watch like that last, I'm not gonna say the last restart, but the last 30 laps and 40 laps, whenever some of those guys took tires and a lot of them didn't. And really, the ones that were able to stay out were able to keep their track position.
Was Blaney was on a 2-tire strategy for a while, wasn't he?
I know a bunch of guys took 2 tires.
And
McDowell,
he was fast.
Yeah, the Michael McDowell thing was cool to me because, and I don't remember the lap numbers, but they took right sides only, then on the next pit stop, left sides only, and then the next pit stop, right sides only, and went to the end for that
Yeah.
run. And
Yeah, I mean,
track
we're just-
position was big.
seem to be running into an issue. Like a bunch of drivers have been harping on it. Just need more tire fall off. I was listening earlier. Ryan Blaney was on the download last week after his Coke 600 win, and he's one of the guys advocating. He says if we had 900 horsepower, those things would be super difficult to drive. I mean, he said they're already difficult to drive. If you get it sideways, it's next to impossible to catch. You can't drive it sideways like you can the old cars, the Gen 6.
Yeah. The previous cars, you could try to wreck them, and they wouldn't.
And I think that's just a lot more sidewall flex too.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you look at those with the 18-inch tall wheels. There's not a whole lot of sidewall on those tires,
Yeah,
And
it's very minimal. It's like 3 inches, maybe.
and there's just not a lot to absorb the
But,
slide.
yeah, it's like from no grip to back to grip to no grip, or vice versa instantly. So it's weird for them to try to catch those slides.
Yeah, I mean, there's some work that NASCAR's got to do, and it's obviously not going to be an overnight thing. This car's just a year and a half old.
And Goodyear and
Yeah, and
and
it's just not
Not-
going to happen
not
like
dissing
that.
Goodyear,
Which is
just
unfortunate. It's not going to happen quick because some races are going to suffer. And I mean, we see the intermediate package is a lot better than it used to be. Obviously,
yeah.
In the
From
Gen
first
6.
time out of the gate, it's a lot better.
and the Gen 6 cars, everybody was harping on the intermediate cookie cutters were garbage. I think that's why Atlanta changed and tried to get a little more super speedway. Like the short track racing, everybody was harping for more road courses. That's why we've got 12 of them on the schedule or whatever.
But you don't have to schedule them right next to each other.
Well, I'm not even talking Xfinity. I'm talking about Cup. It's just, and then, last year we saw, and then the stage racing with the taking some of the fun out of strategy. And these cars aren't racing that well on short tracks and road courses like everybody thought they would. And
I think it has so much to do with the underband. Like, if you took all that off for short tracks, I think it'd be a lot better racing. Obviously, you can't run those cars. It wouldn't even work.
Well, they got to take more off. I mean, they took a lot off when they took the strakes out.
Yeah.
They got to take more off.
yeah, I mean they've got to find a way that
gotta
they
make
can
that
take
tires fall
everything
off.
off.
Yeah.
I mean, those rain tires at Wilkesboro, even though those were short races, those little heat races with the rain tires, they were struggling. And those tires were soft, and honestly, those tires are too wide. They didn't take an inch back off those tires.
Yeah, I think everybody's said that from the get-go. So, yeah, I mean, it's a lot better on the intermediates. Gateway's kind of an in-between. worldwide technology, whatever we call it now.
Still,
It was
Very
all right
short
racing.
track.
It's just, it's such a weird track layout. It's shaped like Darlington. It's a tenth of a mile shorter, and there's no banking.
I actually enjoyed the racing there. Like
It was fun.
Not like the top three, but from like I'd say fourth, fifth back, the racing
and-
was incredible.
Mid pack, it's great, but just the aero advantage that you get. The aero advantage you get just being out front and having clean air. It's just, you saw Kyle check out by 3, 4, 5 seconds. So we're not going to limit this to an hour. We can go as long as we want. So it's just they've got to figure out some things for the aero disadvantage. And I know everybody's been saying that for 20 years now, and there's no way to take away downforce from engineers because that's an engineer's job is to figure out how they can make their
Get that
team
little
better.
bit.
Yeah. And honestly, it's the same problem as they're struggling with in F1. You watch, Max Verstappen is winning everything,
awesome.
leading by a lot. The 2 races he hasn't won this year, his teammate won, so Red Bull's won all 7 races in F1.
Yep.
It's just they're so much better than everybody else, and I think they've said it best is, why are y'all going to punish us because we figured out how to make our cars better? Tell everybody
what I
else to get better.
loved. The old school still bodies. You could
But that IndyCar race at Detroit the other day, I watched that last night while I was wrapping up my day, and I was like, wow, those guys were hustling it. It was good.
watched that
You should go back and give that a look.
I might, but I probably won't.
I want to watch
The other thing
street courses.
about the downforce, to me, and when I was at Darlington, I think, I watched one or two of the teams doing final preps on the car, and you guys have honestly probably already seen this or knew this, but just to watch it, the little things that the car chiefs are doing to give that car a little more downforce, tweaking on things that the officials won't bitch at them about, to be blunt.
It's the gray area.
Pulling up on things that can be pulled up on, not pulling fenders per se, but there's things on the car they can touch that,
Spacers and side windows.
making sure that net's really tight. And I will say, I'll tell you what I saw.
Shark fin templates.
Specifically, I'm going to say specifically what I saw. I just won't say who it was, and it wasn't Collie because that wasn't who I was watching. But he folded back every one of those tear-off flaps as far back as he could, so that they were sticking way up in the air. And I know NASCAR has told him not to really do that a lot.
Yeah, they come out with a rule earlier this year where they had to
He
be
did.
within 6
And he
inches
kind
of
of
the
laid him
top.
back down a little bit, but he had him up. It's like when you dog your books. It was funny.
They had made a rule for that, 6 inches from the top of the windshield bed. You can only have so many because people were having 15 to 20 tear-offs.
Oh yeah.
It was getting a little ridiculous what they were doing. So I guess that's all we're going to talk about Gateway. Oh, wait. I guess we can talk about Corey LaJoy. Yeah.
Corey LaJoy.
Really?
Eccentric debut.
I really wish that could have gone better for him. He's a likable guy.
I love Corey LaJoy.
Yeah,
I think he was in his own head.
it just didn't run well all weekend. It wasn't in the top 15 at all. All
Didn't he put
three
it
of
in
us.
the wall in qualifying or in practice?
Twice.
Twice in the it's just unfortunate, and I mean you can't. It happens. It's a big time opportunity that he's been trying to get for a while. Obviously we know what he went through trying to get that 48 when Jimmy retired, and honestly,
I don't know if I could do that.
to not have it
Big
in
shoes.
the top 15 all day at all, it's a letdown. Especially how well his actual car ran with Carson Hocevar in it before the brake rotor exploded.
Carson was impressive.
Carson,
He's not my favorite person, but he really impressed.
I think we said it last week that dude's grown up a lot. He raced very clean, very respectable, and in unfortunate circumstances that a lot of people had that issue with the brake rotor exploding.
like four, I believe,
It
4
was
cars.
quite a few, and I think if that race had been 100 miles longer instead of 300, been to 400, we'd have
there'd
sent
been
10,
two-
15 more.
There have been 2 cars finish a race.
If Corey would have had a better car earlier in the race, if he could have found that balance he wanted, I think they might have tried the thing they did with Kyle Larson, two-tired him up to the front for track position and then work on it.
And I don't think not
You
being
can't do
able to
that with
see
a
the
replacement
data
driver.
helped. Not because I read Rodney Childers tweeted this morning, and I actually saved it for this. I think. Rodney tweeted, had a better car than 10th yesterday, but just a tough race. Having no timing and scoring, no SMT, no laps on fuel or tires, no communication with my engineers at the shop, all was extremely frustrating. I felt so lost. So
definitely made it an old school type of race.
And when you're not prepared for that, you're used to having your computers. Ronnie's going to have 7 or 8 different channels. Because he's going to talk to everybody on the box. You got your race engineer, your crew, your driver, everybody back at the shop.
I bet they have a backup plan for that now.
Yeah, to not have that normal communication.
Yeah, it's
definitely when you're used to
it's like
having
when you lose your cell phone.
Everything.
It's the worst feeling.
Yeah, or even when your cell phone just dies.
Yeah.
I can't. What am I supposed to do with my hands? You turn into Ricky Bobby. You don't know what to do.
But I'm not saying it because of work there, but I feel like that's where RCR was that little bit better because we're still kind of more old school.
Yeah.
Than a lot of the teams say, like a Hendricks.
Yeah, and I know that Alan said to Corey specifically on the radio that Corey was saying just sorry that I suck so much, basically, and Alan's like, sorry I can't do anything because I don't have any effing timing in here. I don't have any data.
That's one thing I hate about what NASCAR has gotten to. Like, I understand you got to move along with technology, but
yeah,
I still love the old school, like pen, paper, calculator, all these calculations like fuel mileage,
right?
Wear on tires.
That's what's surprising, really, is that he said there was no laps for fuel or tires. Write it down on a bar napkin the last time you pitted, and then do the math.
Yeah, I mean,
or
weigh your gas
can.
Keep
track of it on your phone.
You know how much fuel weighs. You know how much your can weighs.
I mean, I used to do those calculations. I'm not an engineer, but at Rick's,
it's not that.
At Rick's, when Jonas was our crew chief, he literally had me doing the fuel and tire calculations.
They said that the computers that they use, the programs that are in the computers that they use on the pit box, are dependent on the internet to actually run the programs, which to me is counterintuitive.
Yeah,
those programs should work regardless of having the internet, so that you can input your stuff manually if you have to.
Yeah, and I bet it's not internet related, or it's not internet dependent after the next few weeks.
No, it won't be. They'll figure out a way to bring back some alternative. If you lose everything, if you lose some of it,
they'll have a thumb drive, with a program that just it might suck, but every time the driver comes by, you click the little arrow, and that points how many laps you have on tires and fuel since the last time you pitted or whatever, and then just
get your trust.
That's where the old school wins, is when shit goes wrong.
I don't know if it's true or not, but in my head, I feel like that's the little bit advantage RCR had was we're still kind of old school racers.
Yeah. And I'm wrapping up the Corey LaJoy. So he never ran a fast lap faster than Carson Hovasavar, and Carson was out early. And Corey never still could find the raw speed for at least one lap that Carson had.
And that's either Spire just hit off on something, but still for Hendrick Motorsports not to be able to figure it out, even with the internet issues.
Right. Well, all their cars were junk early. Everybody was bad. Larson was like last almost.
Yeah.
But Larson, being Larson and Alan Gustafson, they figured it out.
Larson is a.
But Chase Elliott.
Not Alan Gustafson.
Chase Elliott finished in the same spot last year. Corey finished this year, so it's not like.
And Corey outran Alex Bowman on the finishing order. I know Alex had a little bit of issues at the end on that last restart, so it wasn't truly indicative of what it was. But overall, I think for Corey, that's going to be a disappointment. Is he deserving of another shot? I honestly think he's got some more proving to do in that Spire car, seeing what Hocevar is. And I know Corey's been in contention for some wins, mainly at the speedway tracks.
But I think a lot of that is relationship with your crew, your crew chief, your everybody.
I thought that he should have had his spotter instead of Eddie for the race. And Eddie talks a lot of stuff. I listened to Corey and Eddie the whole race just about. And Eddie's got some spotting techniques that maybe Chase Elliott likes, but I don't know if Corey done all that.
Yeah, and that's another thing, because, Hocevar's got Corey's spotter, I'm assuming, so why not just shift Corey Spotter into that, and I don't know the logistics.
It wouldn't have been fair to give Eddie. I mean, I'd paid Eddie to be off or be there as a consultant, but I would have let Corey have his spotter.
Yeah.
And I would have let Carson have whoever his spotter is.
In the truck series.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, the only issue you're going to run into that is if Hocevar uses somebody that spots Cup, and then you just got to find somebody to spot. But really unfortunate weekend. I wish he could have ran a little bit better. Does he deserve another shot? Maybe.
I mean,
Only time will tell. He's how old is Corey now? He's got to be close to 30.
I think he's a little bit younger than I am, so I'd say late 20s.
Well, I'm 28.
Shoo, you're getting old, dude.
I know.
Catching up.
No, it's my Davy year.
I just really hate it for Corey because I've seen him from
Yeah.
like
You sent us that
years.
photo last week of him in Victory Lane at Bowman Gray
I remember that night.
when we touched on that K&N race. And, it's just he's such a likable guy, but unfortunately the sport doesn't run off of likability.
Nope.
You know?
And he's a hard worker. I mean, like he works for, I don't know if he still does, but there for a long time he was still driving full time and working building seats and stuff.
Right. At
He'll be
Randy's
32
race.
in October.
Okay. So he's getting up
He's
there.
my
He's
age.
Josh Berry age. I mean, and Josh, we've talked about that. I mean, nothing's been formally announced, but we think he's going to get that 4-car.
Josh has a lot more backing, I feel like, though. He's had bigger opportunities
Corey's just
than
been
Corey.
pushing along little by little for such a long time, whereas Josh really just jumped on the scene from the late models within the last 5-6 years.
But he proved himself pretty good in the late models.
Yeah.
He was
There's that.
he was the guy that shows up, and that's who's going to win every time.
Yeah. No,
Unless something
I agree.
breaks, he's going to be the guy that wins.
I agree. I guess that covers the Cup Series. It was a good weekend for RCR. Cowbush with the win. A lot of brake failures. Got to figure out what's causing that, whether it's the part, whether it's just the cautions and the red flags that they had. I know we had a lot of drivers cooling their brakes too much or letting them cool evenly during red flags or whatever. But that's just, you got to figure that out because that's a blight on a race. And then AT&T's got to get their shit figured out so we don't have that issue again. So it's time to wake up. If y'all can hear that.
That is my alarm.
Mine
PTSD.
So let's get a little bit on Sonoma. It's not a lot to talk about. It's a doubleheader weekend for Xfinity and Cup. It's the first time Xfinity's been there in a long time, if ever. I don't know if Xfinity's ever been to Sonoma.
So were you running the sports car course or the NASCAR course?
Did they go back to the NASCAR course? They cut out that crap in the middle. So they're back to the NASCAR course with all the carousel and all
With
that
the
junk.
easy turn.
Yeah. Obviously, we've got Mr. Allmendinger back in the 10.
That's
So
oof,
I don't think Sonoma's his strongest road course on the circuit, though.
good.
But
Because I feel like Sheldon on road courses is good.
yeah, he's definitely.
It's just where everything else falls.
I just feel like AJ when he's getting in because he's not getting those opportunities every week, and I know he's a little bit frustrated because our Cup side's not running as well as he knows it can. He's gonna put him on the dash and pick that car up.
He
right?
always
He's got
does. Any road course.
Yeah, and he's gonna do it. And I know that car. I mean, we spent a lot of time building his car. All 6 cars we sent out west, honestly, but we put a lot of. We knew that this was an opportunity for him to go out and really get both sides of College racing a win, top shop
That
and
would
bottom
be
shop.
cool for you guys.
Is Ty?
But you got to
Is
be us.
is AJ the only Cup driver in the Xfinity race, or I think maybe Ty Gibbs is running it? I can't remember. Is Gibbs running for JGR in the Xfinity race, or is AJ the only Cup driver?
No, there's a bunch. It's a stacked field, but I saw that tweet earlier from somebody that had it laid out.
Okay. Well, I'm rooting for AJ.
I mean,
Honestly, I want Daniel to win, but
I want the 2 or the 21 to win, but statistically, the past couple of races, Austin already has 3 wins, but Sheldon's finishes.
I feel
and
like this
his
is the
qualifying
portion
has been
Yeah,
better for him.
I feel like
past
this is
couple
the
races.
portion of that suits Shelton better. Austin, the mile and a halfs, Vegas, Atlanta, he's badass, and then obviously Speedway racing, he's just really good. But now we're getting into kind of the odd tracks, your New Hampshire, your Pocono, the road course meat and potatoes.
I think he shines pretty good there.
So for the Xfinity race, 41 cars for 38 spots. You've got Ty Dillon in the 4, Suarez in the 07, Weatherman in the 08, Allmendinger in the 10, Larson in the 17, Gibbs in the 19, Mosak in the 24. He's not a cup driver, but
Neither is Ty Dillon.
Almirola in the 28.
He just has a cup ride.
And some of those guys aren't full time. Yeah.
Cat.
Chastain in the 91.
All right.
41 cars.
So the best I heard out of that group was AJ Allmendinger. So
I still love my boy Weatherman, though.
yeah, Weatherman. I
What?
really wish he could get. He's another one like
I
Corey
mean-
LaJoy. I wish he could get something decent to kind of show his talent. Whether it's
Yeah, I
in
was talking with
Xfinity.
Kyle at Charlotte. No, North Wilkesboro.
Did
Yeah,
you hit
he
the button
was-
to show you, or are you just
No,
unmuting
I'm just
yourself?
sitting down here. I'm
Okay.
just unmuting myself. But yeah, I talked to Kyle, and he was pretty positive about some things. Even at North Wilkesboro, he wasn't sure he was going to race at Charlotte, and they were putting the deal together. But he's outperforming some cars that he shouldn't have. And I feel like
He's
that-
done
He
that for
really
years. He
has.
did that when he was on the Dream Team with us. We outran Landon Castle and 00, who got all the new stuff. And those boys, I'm not going to say it was Landon, because
We got-
Landon drove a hell of a car for us last year. But I think the 99 team overall was better than the 00.
Dream team. And Weatherman's, I think his only win in the ARCA series was on a road course.
It was. I don't remember where, but it was on a road course somewhere.
He's a good little driver.
Yeah. It should be an interesting weekend. Obviously.
I think Sheldon's on a streak, and I think he's got something to prove this weekend.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't
can't
step
pick
on
him.
his own, you know what.
Shoestrings.
Yeah. he's definitely a threat. It's like Daniel. You just got to get out of his own head, get out of his
He's
own
an
way.
X Games gold medalist.
Sheldon?
Sheldon Creed.
In what, Luge?
Trophy trucks.
Forgot they had all that
Sheesh.
fancy stuff.
It's
Have you
X
ever
Games.
watched Luge? Luge is awesome. You're laying down on like a sled and going fast as F.
Fast as F.
Well,
Quote of the week.
fast as F, boy.
That two's going to be fast as F, boy.
Boys. Oh, man. So Sonoma should be fun. I'm excited. You got anything else? I think you did well. Good job.
Hey, thanks, pal.
You might be the replacement. I guess we'll find out.
Totally the replacement.
If you want to come
Better
back,
looking
you
than
can.
everything.
I've heard next week we're going to have another guest. I don't know. Sam's going to be at the beach, so he's going from the left coast to the right coast. And I don't know if he's ever coming back, honestly. I guess we'll find out in a few weeks. I know he's sending a bunch of pictures of the Golden Gate Bridge, and I think he was at a Pride Parade. I don't really know. So if you're done, I'm done.
I'm done.
All right. We'll see you next time. We are back at the shop.
See ya.